My parents unplug their cable modem at night, then put it in a drawer to keep from being hacked. Reddit, what ill-informed things do people in your life do or don't do as a result of technology ignorance? My grandparents still use AOL. They have their desktop volume set to high. Whenever I visit, I know it's good for a few flinches as I hear that thing yell, "You've got mail." It's like reliving 1996 all over again. My grandma also uses AOL with a dial-up connection. Oh, that sweet modem melody. My mom will close Firefox every time she wants to get back somewhere. I tried to explain to her multiple times that all she has to do is hit the back button or the homepage button, but she throws her hands up in the air and screams, "This is too confusing, just let me do it my way." Closes Firefox and then navigates step by step to the page just before wherever she was before she closed it. You should explain it using a book. Tell her the back arrow is like going to the page before and the home page is like closing the cover and starting from the beginning. Maybe then it won't be so hard for her to comprehend. "Books are too confusing, just let me do it my way." Closes book and flips each page one by one to get where she was. Told my mom the internet was closed on holidays. She believed me. My mom has had every generation of the iPhone, but she refuses to register an App Store account because she's afraid someone will steal her identity. Why would you even bother buying new iPhones if you aren't actually using them? When I was in high school, my mom would make late night trips to her job. She would come back about half an hour later. One night it came up that she was only going to her work to check her email. I told her that she could check her email from the home computer or any other computer connected to the internet, to which she replied, "No, sweetie, I need to check the email that is on my computer at work. My emails aren't on this computer." It took her forever to wrap her head around the idea that those messages weren't actually on her computer at all. "Someday you're going to have to teach me all about computers." Yeah, sure thing, Mom. My mother's job did not require her to go to work to check her email. She is just technologically impaired. If her job required any degree of information confidentiality, I wouldn't have jumped to such a conclusion. If she's using POP, it's possible the only copies actually are on her work PC. Please don't get in the way of a righteous comment with facts. My mother's text messages are always short and concise. Turns out that she thought she paid by the letter. She's got free text on her subscription but doesn't fully trust it. My mom is the reason we had to get unlimited texting. My dad blamed me at first. I was the likely culprit, being the teenage daughter at the time, until he looked at the bill. My mom had used more text than the rest of us combined. I don't want to be the one to tell you this, but he might not be your real father. My elder relatives double-click everything. I can understand elderly, but when I see my mom do this, it drives me insane. Also, when she double-clicks something and it takes a bit to open, she continuously clicks it and opens like 20 pages. She then gets pissed and blames the computer. My mother didn't realize that you could pick up a mouse. Watching her stretching across her table to move the mouse was quite funny, bless her soul. I had a friend who believed that once you'd allowed cookies on Internet Explorer once, Microsoft could access the entire contents of your hard drive, even when it was switched off. The first time my mom used a mouse, she grabbed it with both hands like a Ouija board. You just gave me my biggest laugh of the day. Please thank your mother. A work friend accidentally deleted everything in her Outlook inbox. She stayed late that night, opening each individual email from the deleted items folder and forwarding them to herself. She thought it was the only way to get them back in the inbox. Also, I have a client that only has one email address for the entire company. Employees do not have their own. One address for everyone. The owner will have various employees log in to print and distribute them as needed. He also sends out emails before holidays and weekends, instructing others to send no emails while the office is closed. I finally found out he thinks he gets charged for emails sitting in the inbox, like cell phone minutes or something. Twist, it's a Yahoo email address. This made me horribly anxious, and now I have to put away the internet for a while. Thanks. Before closing out of their internet browser, my parents click the back button until they get back to their homepage. As my stepdad explained to me back when I was like 11, it's sort of like rewinding the internet. I hope they rewind their DVDs too. My mum asked me to get her a cable so she can charge her iPhone off her iPad. They should make an app that does this and plays a hauntingly mystic cult chant as the life of one is traded for another. What gets me is that while it's not hurting anything to unplug it per se, it's 100% unnecessary. I told him it's accomplishing just as much as putting his shoes in the sink. His answer was, well, why would I do that? Sigh. They unplug it because they don't want you on the internet at night, and they have successfully trolled you. We have a winner, folks! My boss. Our office used to be in downtown Chicago, and many of our employees commuted from the suburbs via train. During the NATO summit last summer, there were a lot of protests and security regulations in place, and many business shut down entirely. I saw an online web article about the train not allowing bags and other stuff that would affect our employees, so I mailed him the link, suggesting he distribute it. He asked me to print it out on the Xerox, so I did and handed it off to him. He walks back over to the Xerox, scans it in as a PDF, and starts up a new email and attaches the scanned web article. I'm still having trouble understanding his thought process. At least he can work the scanner. My great-grandmother, early 1900s, used to keep safety plugs in all unused outlets so the electricity would not leak out. She's just telling you that because when you were younger you stuck a fork in the outlet. My mom never turns off her computer because she thinks that the entirety of eBay resides on it. If she turned it off, no one could access eBay or her listings. She also opens pictures in Paint and resaves them instead of simply moving them to a new folder. How does she handle the responsibility of hosting and maintaining eBay without a little help? My mum freaks out when I hide a window in the taskbar. Where did it go? What have you done? I've been on once and found at least 7 of the same internet page open in the taskbar. Seems she would leave a window so as not to lose it. Then every time someone else used the computer and hid it, she would panic for a bit, then open the site in a brand new window. Cycle, repeat. Panic for a bit. This is the part I don't understand. It's as if the older generation believes computers will suddenly explode if you do something wrong. The last time my mom went online was pre-Google. A couple of years ago, I asked her if she wanted to try getting online again, and she said no. That finding anything on the internet is too stressful. I quit asking and started showing her stuff I found and explained the wonders of Google. Now she wants an internet connection and a tablet. I'm so proud of her. Don't forget to tell her about Reddit. I don't think Reddit is ready for my mom. My roommate has zero concept of how the internet and his laptop works. He's also stubborn as hell when it comes to most things, and though I started building computers with my dad when I was little, he still won't take my advice or try to let me fix things. He will only use his laptop when it's plugged in because he's convinced that for every % the battery uses, the laptop loses its ability to function by that much. Now, often I'll go into his room when the internet is down because the router is in there, and every time I ask him to let me fix it, he'll say, "Is your laptop charged all the way?" And even if it's at 95% battery, he'll throw up his hands and say, "Well, there's the problem. You're only operating at X%. I don't even know how you got anything done like that, man." And then looks at me like I'm the ignorant. Joke's on him. He's shortening his battery lifespan by unbelievable amounts. My mum asked me today if it was possible to unsubscribe from the internet. She can. Just send me her credit card numbers and her personal information and I'll take care of the rest. I love all of these, lol, my mum can't use all the features on her iPhone. Makes me feel worse. My mother can't use the cable box. The idea of DVD menus confuses her that movies don't play like linear VHS. She doesn't have the internet or a computer, and the functions she does at work involving them are in a strictly memorized A to B to C fashion when performing tasks. She doesn't own a cell phone. She can't use a GPS to drive to places which she hasn't been before. She has become technologically retarded, not even that old, only in her late 50s. We can all understand the elderly, but I cross-compare my family with in-laws and it's depressing. Pretty much the bleak outlook if you ignore sweeping changes in technology. I went with my mom to Target to get some headlights for her car. After splitting up to find them, she comes to where I was in the automotive section and asks if she found the right ones. She had a headlamp. Absolutely adorable! I would have bought it with her, then went to the auto mechanic with her to see the look on his face. I went over to my grandparents' house right after they got Wi-Fi, which they keep downstairs while the rest of the living area is upstairs. They told me that if I wanted to use it, I would need to open up the stairwell door so it could get through. Joke's on you, their basement is an old lead-lined bomb shelter. My grandma always wants me to teach her how to use the computer. She's 86 and super stubborn. Use the mouse pad square right here to move the cursor. I am! No, you're just touching the panel surrounding it. It's only this little square. It just doesn't work. Continues to not touch the little box. What's most annoying is that she wants to learn but has no clue where to start, and she won't even try without me for fear of ruining something. My grandma, who is technologically competent, said that most old people are terrified of touching or ruining a computer because they have no concept of something being undoable. Decades ago, you only got one TV or whatever, and the rule was that kids could not touch it because if it broke, that was about it. I'm just on that cusp of internet paranoia. Most of my friends don't know how it works, but they're sure they're being spied upon through their monitor. About 17 years ago, my grandfather passed away. Just a year or two before that, his son installed a garage door opener with a light on a timer. Grandpa was convinced my uncle was pressing a button or something while he wasn't looking. There's no way a timer could be set to a light like that. Until the day he died, he thought his son was just playing with him. I unplug my toaster oven, kettle, iron, etc. when not in use. I just don't trust stuff that plugs in that generates heat. Always worried about coming home and my house is being burnt down. Might be stupid, but I feel better doing it. You're also saving electricity. You're right. Most appliances draw electricity regardless of what they're actively doing. This is why I like to plug up my entire entertainment system through a surge protector so I can turn it off when I'm not using it.